Hi everyone, Sean back from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and welcome to Chapter 2 of the Dual Enterprise build from AMT. Now this is the 650 scale model, everyone, and just to show you a little progress, here is the saucer section for one of them. I've got the wiring done for the nacelles, which is really cool. I haven't filmed the sections for that, but that's done, and we've got the blue painted for the nacelle, so that's going to be the nice grill, that blue effect there. This video, though, everyone, is going to be focusing on the custom nacelle caps that Michael told me about, which thank you very much for that hat tip. So there's some cool little modification there to the kit we're doing this time around. And we are also going to be talking about cleaning up this saucer section. There's a lot there, everyone, because these kits in particular were not really that great when I opened the box. Now, the unboxing, we do see it looked pretty good. Everything fits just right. But these two kits in particular, for I don't know why, but the flash on them is a lot worse than I had seen before. And interestingly, these two kits came from separate purchases. I got one at Hobbytown and one I think I ordered online. So maybe they're from the same lot. I don't know. But it's nothing we can't handle, but it just took a lot of work to score that down. So we're going to be demonstrating that. There's not much else to say, everyone, except I would want to remind everyone out there, please send me some emails of your work. It's the thescifimodelguy@gmail.com. I do respond to every email that we get, but sometimes it takes me a little while to get to it, as some of you will know. So I do apologize for that. Really trying to get better with doing that. But anything that you do send me, we will be featuring on the next Sci-Fi workshop, which I do need to get that scheduled. So we'll have another round of that and keep that series going. It's just, holiday season. Everything kind of slows down. We have visitors. We have other priorities in life. So I hope everyone out there had a wonderful holiday season. We're just coming into the new year, so really looking forward to that. I got some super cool stuff planned. We got a lot of kits back there to build, and really looking forward to the things that are coming up. So anyway, everyone, enjoy this one. I'm having a lot of fun doing this kit. I know I've done this kit a bunch of times, more than we've documented here on the channel, but I do learn something every time. So as we talked about, I'm going all out on these. I'm really trying to make these ones perfect. I'm adding some stuff too, real quick, to talk about that. So for instance, on the saucer section up here on the original series, there are two little lights that are red on either side of the bridge. They're not on this kit, so we're adding those in. We're going to be adding in some lights on the back, on the fantail at the shuttle bay. There's a little green and yellow and orange lights there in the back. We're going to be putting those in. We're going to be putting in the light for the shuttle bay, as well as that kind of crystal thing on the top. We're going to be adding all those in there to this kit, and they don't come with them because it's kind of small, so it's going to be hard to do. But given what I've learned so far, that's going to be coming out good. And for next week, not this week, we'll be documenting this here, which I'll show you in the camera. These are the back pieces to the nacelle for Michael's model. He wanted to have more from like season 1, where there's little holes in here and it's lit up back here like an exhaust on an engine or like a muffler or something like that. I think that's what they were going for in the show. So I was able to get that sanded down and looking really nice. And this is just some black primer to light block it. And we've got some stuff in there. So next week's video, we will be talking about how we went ahead and accomplished that. So some cool stuff coming there, everyone. So a little customization, a little bit of additions to these kits, and it's going to come out really nice. But in the meantime, enjoy this one, and we will see you down the road, everyone. Take care. Okay. So everyone, you might notice my voice here is a little bit muffled, and that is because I am wearing a little face mask thing, and I'm going to be putting these here goggles on. And this is really important. I know we've talked about this before, but it's very important when you're going to do what I'm going to do here, that you wear proper eye protection and a face mask, because we're going to be using this little cutting disc here with a Dremel tool, and we're going to be cutting off these hard pieces of flash here that have come out with the of the saucer section. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And I'm just going to document this. Probably we'll cut some out, little time lapse and stuff, but I want you to get an idea of kind of the approach or the touch that I use to do this. So here we go. I'm going to put this on to about level 4. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that is just one of the sprues, not sprue, but that's one of the pieces of flash there that we've taken off. And hopefully you got an idea of the speed that I go on. I don't go boring in because if you just lay this stuff in there, it just starts to melt this stuff. And then you could transfer that heat into your plastic, warp it, you can chip it. So it's really important to do this nice and slow. Now, obviously we didn't get all of it. I will deal with that maybe with some sandpaper, or maybe even go through with the cutting disc again later. But right now, I just want to get the major pieces off of these here. And I'm looking here. There is some nasty flash there on the edge of this. I don't know if you can see that. That is hard stuff. That's not just like the kind of flash you just pick off. Interesting. Okay. It'll sand off. It just, you always find something new with these guys. So I'm going to do a little bit more here. Let me put the mask back on. We'll go a little bit faster this time and see what happens. Okay. Well, I turned it up a little faster. It did work a little bit, but you can see, like, you have to still be very careful because this thing will run away on you. And you got to be very careful and just touch it. And again, the idea is not to leave it on too long so it doesn't start to melt this styrene too much. So anyway, guys, that's the idea of that approach. So I'll go ahead and finish all this and come back, and I'll let you know about how long that took. So see you in a minute. All right, so this process took about 10 minutes or so, but it's really chunky, you guys. This kit here, this one especially, look at this, and this wasn't by any melting that I did. This was part of the kit, so I'm really going to have to get in here and clean this up. I think one of the things I'm going to do with these kits here now, if we notice on the side, there's always these windows here. There's these little indents for the windows and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just sand those off for this build. I know where they are. I have reference photos, and I'm going to be using masking tape, little pieces of masking tape to light block where these windows are going to go. So if those little bits are raised or not, it's not going to make a difference in the model in the slightest. So, we can see some here. You can kind of see where those windows go. So, I'm okay to sand them down because, at least on some of them, because like this here, there's really no fix for that other than sanding this down with a lot of elbow grease, because I'm leery about cutting these. So, if I could find and I'm sure those of you who are experienced with cutting plastic with these cutters will know. I'll just use this little piece of scrap. So if we were just to go through and cut this stuff here, you know, just get these cutters and cut off these big pieces of flash that are on there, you end up kind of warping the plastic. So we'll go in here, and if you do that, you see this, it gives that little run, and it makes a bubble, and that distorts the plastic, and you never get a real clean cut. I mean, you can see how it's warping, it's becoming all crazy. So sanding is really the only option here. Maybe a little bit of cutting we can do. For instance, here's on this edge right there. I could probably cut some of that. You know, but not all of it. If I'm going to do it, I'm not going to go down to the root. I'm just going to cut off the larger pieces that I'm comfortable doing. And I apologize for this angle. Hopefully this is okay. You know, I'm just going to trim it down a little bit. And you can also use your X-Acto knife for this in some of the pieces. Let's see here. So I've got a nice sharp blade here. The only thing is that doing this, it really kills your blades. But sometimes you just don't have an option. So we can get some of it down. And you want to be careful because this stuff will just take a nice chunk out of it, and stuff you don't want to remove. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, so I remember in the unboxing I was talking about how, hey, it looks like we had a good kit. Well, I didn't look too closely at the saucer section because this is definitely not this one. I mean, the engineering section went together okay, but this is chunky. This is probably one of the worst saucers I've seen. I've built a ton of these kits here. So, and we've got the same situation going on with the top. We've got these guys. So what I'm going to do is off camera, see, and look at all of them are like this. Both kits. You know, that is the worst I've seen yet, but nothing I can't handle is just going to take a lot of work. Here's another piece. You can see that the curve isn't good. So it's going to need a lot of work. So I'm going to do all this off camera, and I'm going to utilize, I'm probably going to go back and forth on a lot of methods. I'm going to use the cutters probably a little bit to trim down what I can, maybe a little X-Acto knife. We've got a sanding stick, and I've got this various grades of sandpaper, and I'm just going to have to go at it and attack this. One thing I might do here is take, you know, once I get the this side flush and get all the little bits off of that, then I can put the saucer together like this and just start sanding down and using this as a guide. And so hopefully this is making sense to you, to where I can just keep sanding and get that off, and I'll just use my finger and feel and make sure that it's done. So that's probably going to be the final step. Of course, we do that after we glue the kit together. We always do go around with sandpaper, get any glue that squirts out from the seam, sand it down real nice, give it a nice putty, sand it down some more, and keep doing that until the seam line disappears. So that's the absolute final step. So we've got tons of work to do before that on both of these guys here. This is probably going to be, I would probably guess, this is going to be the hardest part of these builds. So I'm going to get to work, and we'll come back and I'll let you know how long it took, and also hopefully everything will be squared away. So I'll see you in a second. All right, everybody, please forgive the variance in the voice quality here. I don't have the mic plugged in. So here's an update. This is about 20 minutes or so later since the last little section I recorded. And as you can see here, the saucer sections are taped together. And I did this to keep them, you know, stabilized so that I could then come through with the Dremel and this little sanding cylinder and just knock off the bigger pieces of the flash and stuff that was sticking out. So I got most of it done on this thing, on this one rather. And then after that was done with the major bits, I took the piece of sandpaper and just went through and smoothed it out a little bit. This isn't obviously a finished smooth, you know, finished product because we still have to paint it and glue it and everything, and then it's going to be really sanded down nicely later. But pretty much all of the chunks are gone off of this one. So I wanted to just demonstrate using this saucer section what I've done. So I've left a couple here to do, and I'm going to zoom in here. So I'll start with this one here, and we'll just use this sanding cylinder, and I'll show you kind of the way I approach it. So I'm going to hold it this way, and just so I can look down and see it, so I can see this general curve, and I'm looking down at it, and that way I can use this and just move this back and forth until the majority of it is gone. So I've got about speed 6. You can see here, it will add it'll kind of bubble up there, so you gotta flick away this little excess. So now that I've got most of it done, sorry about the noise. Now that I've got most of it done, you can see it's still a little wavy. At this point, then I'll turn it this way so that I can see the angle where it's supposed to be, and I will go with it at this approach. So I'm still looking down. Sorry, but I forgot to mention this. So I'm going to make a lot of short passes here to get rid of, because it's really overhanging here. So I'm going to make a lot of short passes, and then once it gets down and I start sanding this part of the saucer, then I know I'm pretty much done with this part. And sometimes I got to turn it again. Oops. Took a good chunk out of it there. So let's get the old sandpaper. This isn't an exact science, you guys. So a lot of it is, you chunk a little piece, you take a little too much off, you don't take enough, and you got to kind of go back and forth with these methods and turn it and make sure you're looking at it from different angles. So right now I'm standing up, so my head is above the camera here. So usually I'm sitting down in a chair, but I'm standing up at this moment so I can get this nice downward view. So this looks pretty good. It's still a little wavy. I don't know if you can tell there. So it's a little wavy like that. That's just from the sandpaper or the sanding cylinder. You don't want to rely too much on that. If you can just get the major parts of it knocked down, then you can come through with your sandpaper and go back and forth, and then this should give it a nice smooth round finish here. And this sandpaper takes a tremendous amount off. You'd be surprised at how fast this will knock this stuff away. So anyway, there's that one. Okay, we're going to do one more here. Here's another nice chunk that is there. So we're going to get this little bit. Okay. There's some more here. That was a piece I don't know if that's the piece we're working on. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I've got a couple other spots here to do, but I won't record those. So now that you've seen that, it's pretty much done. I've got most of the big pieces knocked away. Not a tremendous tremendously hard thing to do. It would have been nice to not have to do this at all, but that's the game we play, huh? Anyway, so yeah, let me zoom out a little bit here, and we've got 2 decent looking saucers so far, with a little bit more work to do, and I'll sand those down and get them as nice as we can, and then we'll move on. I still have to wash these, by the way. I haven't done that because I'm going to be touching them and putting tape and rotating them around, so still haven't given these that nice wash in the lukewarm water yet, but that's coming. So see you soon, guys. All right, guys, so all of the bumps and stuff have been taken off of the saucer section, and they're putting them away here in the box. And over here, we have the pieces of all the nacelles, and this is for both ships here. So what we're going to do here is just go through and make sure we clean off as much flash as we can. So on these kits, there's always a lot of flash here at the front and back of the nacelles. You can see here these little pieces there. There's often some pieces of flash down here. And then as well as the parts of these or the section of these nacelles where we take them off of the sprue, they never really come off that clean. Again, the sprues that they use on these things are very thick plastic. So when you cut them, especially they're thick at the connection points, which I really do wish AMT could get around and fix that, because you can see here where it's just chunky. And I take my time to remove these things. I don't just go in and snap them off, but they always end up needing a little bit of fixing and putty at the end of it. So you can see here on the front right there where these connect, and there's some on the side as well, usually that are apparent. But again, I mean, it's not anything we can't fix, but it always does require some putty work. So sometimes the flash on here and everything is better than others. Sometimes it's worse. These are about mid-range, I would say. Now the thin flash, especially that we're talking about, that's at the end of these nacelles, you can see them even here. You can see this these little bits of flash like right there. That's real easy. That comes just straight off with an X-Acto knife, or even you can almost pick them off with your fingernail in some cases, or just sandpaper. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these up, and I'm going to get as much flash off as I can. Let's lift the camera up. So I've got all of the major pieces of the hull in here. So we've got the the engineering section. So I do have to come through and take these big pieces off of there. And the plan is I want to get as much flash off as possible and then take them over and give them the good wash. Again, because when we do wash these with the water and a couple drops of soap, we're getting all of the releasing agent or whatever they're putting on, to get these out of the mold. There's a chemical that sprays in there. I don't know exactly what it's called, but sometimes that can leave a little residue. So you want to get that off, wash it off, scrub it clean, dry it real well, and then that way your pieces will take the primer real well. But the other side of that is, since I'm handling these so much, we're moving them back and forth, we're taking off all these bits and getting all the flash off. We want to do as much of that as possible before we wash them, because we have oils and stuff on our hands and dirt and things like that. So it's better to do most of your handling of this stuff before you get it ready to prime. So take all the flash off, take the bits off, get it as clean as possible, give it a good wash, and then your next step would be to prime the piece and stuff. So that's what I'm going to do here. We're going to take off all these pieces, then I'm going to go wash it. But again, like these 2 kits here, just a lot more hard flash on here than I'm used to seeing. There's another big piece there. So I'm going to do the same thing pretty much that we did with the saucer. So I'm not going to record that. It's just going to be something I'm doing here in the background, and I'm not sure what section's coming next, but you'll find out in just a second. So see you soon. Hey everyone, little segment here, and this is actually something that was just suggested to me a little while ago from a subscriber, Michael, who had sent me some time ago an email with this alteration to the kit for these little connectors here that go underneath the Bussard collector on the front of the nacelle. So as you can see here, these pieces are you know, it just looks like a half crescent, half circle thing. And there's these little sections here. And I think on the original model, these were actually little individual panels like this. And they just put them there. And Michael sent me a picture, and it looked really good. So I figured, why not do these with this kit? So I've already done 2 of the pieces for one of the kits, and I've got these 2 remaining. So I wanted to document that on this this segment here to kind of show you how I did it. So pardon me, I did cut myself here. I was a little clumsy, so if you see a little blood, I apologize. But basically, I'm going to take off some of this flash here. And I did notice that these pieces on both of these kits, they kind of flay outwards. It's almost like they're a little higher here than in the middle. It's just, I think that's just the way the part is. So I'm kind of correcting that too. And we'll just show how I do. I know I have another tool somewhere around here that would do a better job than this X-Acto knife, but this is what I have. Hopefully I'm staying in the camera here. Now, this little piece here is, you know, again, like so many other pieces of this kit, when you cut them off of the sprue, it just leaves that little nasty thing behind. So I'm sanding these down as I can. So now here, hopefully you can see this. This edge right here, it goes up. I'm exaggerating the direction that it's going, but it's higher here than down here. I can see it anyway. I don't know about you guys. So I'm just filing this down a little bit with the sanding stick. I did try to do the rub it on the sandpaper, but it ended up making a very slanted piece. So I'm just using the sanding stick. I'm looking straight on this way to make sure it's level, and I'm just adjusting where I need to. Anyway, okay, so and right here too, this piece right there is flayed upward. Not sure why it's like that. Maybe just something with the mold. Who knows? So there you go. Just, this isn't something that probably you'd even notice anyway. So basically, all I'm doing here is I'm just taking the X-Acto knife and I'm going to run it down this part here. So if you can see here, there's these little grooves right there. So I'm just cutting down as close to the edge on this one here. When it gets down here, it's a little thicker, so you got to kind of saw it and, you know, kind of persuade it to come off. You don't want to bend it because you'll get that warping of the plastic, but you just want to go very slowly and patiently. So I'll just do one here, and I'm just starting off very light, just like I'm drawing. You know, I'm not putting much pressure at all. And I just want to make sure and get that nice line. And I'm using the edge of this because this is a groove, so I'm using the edge to kind of to help guide the blade here. Well, there, I messed up right there, so that's okay. This part here, it gets through pretty quickly, but I'm only going down to the edge there. In fact, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and get my box cutter or my utility blade and I've got a nice new blade in there, and we'll see how that works for this. We'll kind of test it live. So you can see here, I'm pretty much through. Hopefully you can see here. Just nice and steady. You may not feel like you're getting anywhere, but you are. There we go, pretty much through. It's a little harder for me to do it from this angle because usually I get really close to this so I can see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to keep my head clear so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's through. There we go. There. So you can see there it's just down to that edge. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go grab the utility blade and we'll see if we can get this to go right. Okay, here we are. Got this nice new blade I picked up. Never even used this yet. Picked it up at the hardware store. Oh, that works a lot better. Nice, I can get a lot more leverage that way. Should have thought of that before. All right, so here we go. Hey, you know what? You learned something. It's not when you learn it, it's that you did learn it at all, right? All right, so there's a nice piece. I'm going to set that over here, and these are all the same. So I'm going to go ahead and do these, the rest of them. Now, I'll just still use this to score it so I can have a little bit more control. But once I get down there, I'm going to use this guy right here. And now, when I do this side, this here, oops, sorry, I wasn't in the camera. There's this little bit of leftover here, so I'll be shaving that off with a knife and then sanding it to make that straight. But that's pretty much the idea. So these are going to get glued on underneath, and I'll paint them and glue them underneath when it's ready to assemble the kit. This will be probably some of the last pieces that I'll do. But I wanted to document this while I remembered to, and show you guys this. So I want to hats off to Michael for suggesting this and sending me the email with the pictures. And this is what it's all about, folks. You know, send me those tips and everything, and we'll keep moving here. All right. See you soon.